So get excited! Me and Roux are a review from me! Welcome to MOCACREATE at home! My name is Taylor, and I'm an educator at MOCA, and this is my cat, Roux. And if this is your first time joining us for MOCACREATE at home, welcome, and if you've joined us before, welcome back! During MOCACREATE at home, we learn about MOCA, our mission, what we document and share, and we make art together using materials that you have at home. Today, we will be learning about making our own movie posters. As we talk about movies today, there is something really important that we need to discuss and think about, and that's representation. What I mean by that is that throughout the history of film, people of color, including Asian Americans, have been underrepresented or shown less than white people. Even when people of color are included, they usually play smaller roles instead of the main character. People of color are also often shown as stereotypes in films. A stereotype is an oversimplified or hurtful or offensive idea about a group of people. This could be based on race, gender, age, or some other characteristic or part of someone's identity. In film, this could look like always having to play a specific part or role, and rarely having the opportunity to play characters with more dimension or more layers. Today, as we talk about representation and stereotypes in film, we're going to especially focus on race. Representation in film has been an issue since movies were invented. For example, from 1930 to 1968, there were a series of rules called the Hays Code. These rules controlled filmmaking in Hollywood, and especially controlled the way that films were written, cast, or filmed. There were a lot of different rules put in place to try and make movies more wholesome or moral, and they banned things like cursing, violence, and crime. Some of the rules in the Hays Code were about the race of actors. One in particular said that movies couldn't show interracial relationships, which means that they couldn't have people of different races in romantic relationships together on screen. Why do you think the Hays Code, which was supposed to keep films from showing inappropriate or bad things, included rules about race? Are rules always fair? How might the Hays Code have made it even harder for actors of color to be included in films? Since there were now clearly written rules banning things that white actors and directors didn't want to do or portray on screen, many people of color were not cast in starring roles alongside white actors. This meant they had fewer opportunities to be on screen and pursue their passion of acting. Instead, many white actors were cast as people of color, often in blackface or yellowface. We'll talk more about this later. This poster from the Brides of Fu Manchu, filmed in 1966, shows a lot of the issues with representation that we've just talked about. Take some time to look at the poster. How would you describe Fu Manchu? Some words that come to mind for me are scary, controlling, mean, and violent. Are there any words on the poster that pop out to you? I really notice dead, evil, and horror. What is this poster telling us about Fu Manchu? What is his relationship with the white women in the poster? Fu Manchu is shown as evil and dangerous, especially to the white women. The way Fu Manchu is shown here as a villain is just one example of a stereotype that Hollywood used over and over again for Chinese characters in movies. Also, the actor who played Fu Manchu wasn't even Chinese. Fu Manchu was actually played by a white actor, Christopher Lee. Remember that term yellowface? It describes a style of makeup that gives an actor exaggerated and stereotypical Chinese features. It is a cruel and racist practice. Similarly, when white people wore makeup to make themselves look black, this was called blackface. Today, We almost never see yellowface or blackface in films, although it does happen sometimes, since it's considered extremely offensive and racist. What's more common today is something called whitewashing. Whitewashing is when a character who was originally written to be a person of color, either in the original script or in the book or play, is instead rewritten or played by a white person. Here are some recent examples. In the 2015 film Aloha, Emma Stone played the lead character, who in real life was an Asian American woman. Tilda Swinton was cast as a Tibetan character, the Ancient One, in Doctor Strange from 2016. In 2017, Scarlett Johansson played the lead role in Ghost in the Shell, which was based off of a Japanese manga series and set in Japan. According to a 2018 study, 63.7% of speaking characters in the top 100 films were white, and only 2 films had Asian or Asian American leads or co-leads. While there's clearly still a lot of issues with representation in Hollywood, there have been improvements. Some of this is in thanks to calls for change from everyday people, including discussions and social media campaigns like #StarringJohnCho and #StarringConstanceWu. In 2018, Crazy Rich Asians was the first film in 25 years to have an all-Asian cast and Asian American lead. The last movie was The Joy Luck Club back in 1993. Minari came out last year and has received rave reviews from critics and reviewers. This follows the trail blazed by films like The Farewell and Parasite, which both received a lot of praise in 2019. This year, Marvel will release Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, which will be the first time that there is a major superhero movie with an Asian lead. There's also been more representation in animated movies, with Over the Moon coming out in 2020 and Raya and the Last Dragon being released this year. We look forward to seeing even more movies written by Asian American directors and starring Asian American actors. This is just the beginning. Now, let's move on to thinking about making our own posters. You can make a poster about a story or a movie that you love, or you can make it about a story that you write and haven't seen on screen before. You can even make it all about you. You can just draw your poster, or you can do a combination of drawing and collage with photos. And this technique will work especially well if you are making a movie poster of yourself. If we look at this poster of Over the Moon, we can find several important elements that we should make sure to include in our own movie posters. We want to make sure that we have the name of our movie. We want to make sure to show the main characters, and also to include an important slogan or a catchy tagline. You'll also want to include any important objects or symbols. You should have a release date or something that says, "Coming soon to a home theater near you." And you should also include any important awards that your movie has won or rave reviews. The size and the position of your characters and the people on your movie poster is really important. Usually, main characters are really big and in the front of the movie poster, while less important characters are in the back and smaller. What font will you use? The font can say a lot about the type of movie. Is it a scary movie? Is it romantic? Or is it an adventure film? The poster should show just enough to tell us a little bit about the movie and what to expect, but it shouldn't give away anything too important. So, I of course made a poster of Roux, but this poster is also introducing Gravy! So, Gravy is my new kitten, and her and Roux are not best friends, and she's very nervous and also has a lot of energy, so unfortunately she probably won't make a lot of appearances in our MOCACREATE at home videos, but I thought that a movie poster was a great time to finally introduce her to all of you. And here is my movie poster with Roux and Gravy introducing baby Gravy right there. You can see in my poster that I really tried to make the relationship between Roux and Gravy really clear. I made Roux, who I am envisioning as the main character, really big right in the front, and then the new character being introduced, Gravy, is a little bit smaller, off in the back, but she's still really important, so I still put her right in the middle of the poster. I also chose to have sort of just a regular font that I thought looked more sort of like an adventure, action, best friends type of movie. I thought a lot about the colors that I used. I tried to use some bright colors to show that this would be a nice and fun movie, good for kids and families. I also made sure to include a review from me and a nice, like I said, tagline. Best friends or enemies? You'll have to watch the movie to find out. I'm still not sure. They get along 20% of the time. Like I said, I also included where the film was playing, where it was showing, and finally, I added some like text features to my poster, so I made Roux and Gravy's names really big and bold. I added a symbol with a mouse. They both love playing with toy mice, so I thought that was important, something that brings them together, a nice symbol. But I also, just to jazz my poster up, make it a little bit more exciting, I did some underlining, so like I said, text features, and I also did this sort of outline to really highlight and draw your eyes right to the most important part of my poster, which is of course the pictures of Roux and Gravy. Here are some examples from some other MOCA educators. Thanks for joining me, Roux, and Gravy, the newest member of the MOCACREATE at Home family. We hope that you learned a lot and enjoyed making and starring in your very own posters, just like Roux and Gravy did. We'd love to see what you created, so please be sure to share your work with us. If you enjoyed learning about representation today with me and Roux and Gravy, be on the lookout in 2 weeks for another MOCACREATE, which will continue to discuss representation in Hollywood, especially in relation to award shows. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time. Say bye, Roux.